understanding the mind of the other. When we're seeking to understand another's mind, we rely on at least 3 strategies. 1. We project from our own mind. 2. Use stereotypes. 3. Infer a mind from a person's actions. Our perspective is unique. As Galileo knew, to see the world accurately, you need to look in the right place and then view it through the right lens. These are 2 pieces of wisdom that you and I can easily forget. A man on one side of a river shouts to a man standing on the other side, "Hey, how do I get to the other side of the river?" The other man responds, "You are on the other side of the river." We are not on the spotlight. Childhood instincts are not outgrown so much as they are overcome by more careful and reflective thinking. As we grow up, we learn nuances of a situation. Even in small groups, the social spotlight does not shine on us nearly as brightly as we think. Becoming aware of the power of your own perspective is the very thing that enables a broader perspective. Relax. Others likely won't notice, and if they do, they likely won't mind. Beware of your own biases. Distortions like this are easy to find. When your own views are one-sided, a balanced account will necessarily differ from your own perspective, and the errors in reporting will therefore seem to exist in them rather than in you. The problem of expertise is one of many examples of mistakes that come from projecting our own minds onto others, assuming that others know, think, believe, or feel as we do ourselves. The less willing or able others are to give you a piece of their minds, the more their minds become a blank slate onto which you project your own. The 2 egocentric biases. What you pay attention to. Your interpretation of what you are paying attention to. The 2 different versions of egocentric biases are produced by differences in attention, the neck problem, and the differences in interpretation, the lens problem. Of these 2, existing evidence suggests that the neck problem is easier to overcome than the lens problem. Group stereotypes. Anyone who's ever spoken in front of a large audience or walked down a crowded city sidewalk can confirm this. Individuals within large groups are almost invisible. What your brain extracts automatically from a group is an overall assessment, not its distinct individuals. Our stereotypes go wrong. 3 wicked ways matter most: getting too little information, defining groups by their differences, and being unable to observe the true causes of group differences directly. We define by differences, not by similarities. You define yourself not by the attributes that make you the same as everyone else: has 2 arms, 2 legs, breathes air, but rather, by the attributes that make you different from everyone else. A group defined by its similarity to others is, by definition, no group at all. Your social senses, just like your eyes, are difference detectors. When groups are defined by their differences, people think they have less in common with people of other races or faiths or genders than they actually do and, as a result, avoid even talking with them. A world of differences. Stereotypes routinely stray beyond observation and into explanation. When groups differ, the easy answer is that the differences are due to something essential, internal, or stable about the group members, rather than to something external and therefore unstable, such as social norms and hair dye. We inhabit a world of human differences and predilections, but the extrapolation of these facts to theories of rigid limits is ideology. The context matters. When a man looks into the camera and renounces his citizenship, you have every reason to assume that he means what he says. When that camera zooms out to show a jihadist holding a gun to the man's head in one hand and a script in the other, you know his words are misleading. The problem is that life is viewed routinely through the zoom lens, narrowly focused on persons rather than on the broader context that influence a person's actions. Changing the behavior. Much more effective for changing behavior is targeting the broader context rather than individual minds, making it easier for people to do the things they already want to do. Statistics, the numbers, doesn't reveal the context. Therefore, the fundamental problem that plagues all statistics is an explanation. When a statistician moves beyond the data, problems ensue. Social influences. Human beings, like any animal, are more likely to do things that are easy rather than hard. They don't have some deep desire to litter, they're just more likely to do whatever is going on around them. And so you do what social animals do when they're unsure, you look to other people for information about how to behave, to see if others seem as concerned as you feel. Failing to recognize an emergency makes someone human, not necessarily a callous jerk. Get the perspective of the other. The relatively slow work of getting a person's perspective is the way you understand them accurately, and the way you solve their problems most effectively. The main barrier to getting perspective is that others won't tell you what you'd like to know. They lie, mislead, misdirect, avoid, or simply refuse to divulge the truth. The main reason people lie is to avoid being punished, and so enabling people to give you their perspective requires putting them in a context that diminishes the fear of punishment. The role is the problem. We then developed a household policy of complete immunity as long as you tell the truth. This combination of delay and immunity has worked wonders for us. When the employee fears retribution and the boss isn't open to hearing the truth, nobody speaks their mind and the event becomes pointless. Interrogators often learn that they, as the interrogator, are the main barrier to truth-telling. The curse of shyness. One common laboratory technique for creating fast friends is to have two strangers disclose private thoughts or memories to each other. This is why shyness is one of social life's biggest curses. Companies truly understand their customers better when they get their perspective directly through conversation, surveys, or face-to-face interaction, not when executives guess about them in the boardroom.